20 years later, those 80,000 yuan could not even buy a new smartphone. And there he sat, guarding a cabinet of unwanted VHS tapes, waiting for customers who would never come again. In the summer of 1999, he took over the busiest video hall on the block, with a queue stretching to the street corner. Today, the life you'll experience is a video hall owner. My name is Liu Jiangwo, born in 1968 in rural Hunan. My father was a work points recorder at the production brigade. 5 children at home. I was the third. We often went hungry. I wore my older brother's hand-me-down cotton jacket, and I understood from boyhood that a poor man who wants to get ahead has to fight for himself. When I was 12, I followed my father to the county town to sell grain. For the first time, I saw a video hall on the roadside. I lifted the curtain, and it was packed with people, a kung fu film flickering on the screen. I stood at the door watching for half an hour, and one thought lodged itself. This place truly knows how to make money. In those days, a VHS tape was a rare thing. Only 2 or 3 VCR units in the whole county, and only wealthy families could afford to rent one. I could only press my face to the glass display case outside the shop. Black plastic cases with Bruce Lee's face on the label, and to me they seemed more magical than food ration coupons. I never finished high school because the family could not afford it. I followed villagers south to Guangdong to find work, soldering circuit boards on a factory assembly line, hauling sandbags on construction sites, year after year for 6 or 7 years. Each year I mailed 2 or 3,000 yuan home, and barely kept anything for myself. In 1991, I met a Hunan fellow worker in Guangdong who told me a county town video hall could take in 400 or 500 yuan a day. I counted on my fingers and realized that was more than I earned in 3 months on the assembly line. That night, I lay in the workers' dormitory unable to sleep, the same calculation running through my head over and over. For the next 3 years, I scrimped on everything, even gave up cigarettes, saving 200 or 300 yuan every month, skipping new clothes even at New Year. By 1994, I had scraped together just over 50,000 yuan. I knew the moment had come. It was time to go home and bet everything. At the end of 1994, I returned to the county town, borrowed another 30,000 from relatives, and with 80,000 yuan in hand, I took over a video hall that was being transferred. 70 square meters, 30 chairs, 2 VCR players. I hired someone to hand-paint a sign, Jiangwo Video Hall. On the first day I opened, people were already crowding the doorway. That first year was astonishing. 3 screenings a day, 30 seats packed every time. Hong Kong films, kung fu pictures, martial arts serials. Whenever a new tape arrived, the line outside stretched to the street corner. I was too busy to manage alone and hired a young helper to collect tickets. But in the spring of 1996, officials from the Culture Bureau arrived. They said several Hong Kong tapes had not been submitted for approval, seized the machines, confiscated the tapes, and issued a fine of 2,800 yuan. I was ordered to suspend operations for half a month. Those 2 weeks I barely slept. But I gritted my teeth, completed the paperwork, paid what I owed, and on the very first day we reopened, the queue formed again. After that inspection, I grew wiser. I went to the Culture Bureau to learn exactly which films were permitted, previewed each new batch of tapes before screening them, and took the local cultural station staff out for a meal. In the 3 years that followed, I had no more trouble, and the business ran steadily forward. In 1997, I leased the barbershop next door, broke through the shared wall, expanded the hall to 120 square meters with 60 seats, and added a second-hand color television. In those days, I truly felt I had chosen the right path and was walking it correctly. At the end of 1997, I opened a game arcade beside the video hall, installing 8 arcade cabinets and 2 toy crane machines, specifically to attract children after school. With both venues running together, I held the largest share of business on that street. 1998 was my most glorious year. The 2 venues combined could bring in 600 or 700 yuan on a busy day during peak season. I bought one of the first mobile phones in the county, and old acquaintances on the street called me Boss Lou when they passed. I genuinely believed the money would keep flowing like that forever. That year I also got married to a woman from the supply cooperative in town. We hosted 20 tables of guests. My father drank too much and wept, telling me I had made something of myself. I bought my wife a twin-tub washing machine, the first one on our street. In 1999, I extended the shop front again, replaced the painted sign with a neon light sign. On that street, the Jangwo Video Hall was the brightest storefront at dusk. On weekend afternoons, the queues sometimes stretched from the entrance all the way to the street corner, and latecomers had to wait through 2 screenings before getting in. When the business was good, relationships had to be maintained. Every year at year's end, I prepared several cartons of good cigarettes and made the rounds, calling on the Culture Bureau, the Industry and Commerce Office, and the film distribution staff. This was not bribery. This was the logic of survival. Everyone in that era who ran a business understood it. Around that time, people in Guangzhou began selling pirated tapes at 1/3 the price of originals. I ordered a batch too. I felt uneasy about it, but every competitor was doing the same. If I held back, I would fall behind. That period, my procurement costs dropped by half, and my margins were the best they had ever been. In 2000, I spent 12,000 yuan on the latest widescreen projector available, partitioned 15 seats in a dedicated screening room, and charged 2 yuan more per ticket than the regular hall. 2 screenings a day, and attendance was actually quite good. I thought upgrading toward a premium experience was the right move. 2001 was the last bright year for the video hall. Annual revenue approached 200,000 yuan. After rent, tapes, wages, and relationship maintenance, I cleared around 70 or 80,000 in net profit. I built 3 brick and tile rooms for my father in town. He told everyone he met that his son had made it and the old man could live in comfort. It was also in 2001 that I first sensed something was wrong. Afternoon screenings started to thin out, occupancy sliding from 70 or 80% down to 50 or 60. I asked regulars why. They said they had bought a VCD player at home and were watching discs there instead of going out. I did not take it seriously. I assumed it was only a passing dip. In 2002, VCD player prices fell to 300 or 400 yuan, within reach of almost every household. Disc stalls opened up in rows along the street. 5 yuan per disc, 1 disc per film, no need to leave home, no crowd, no waiting. My customers dropped away faster and faster. Also at the end of 2002, the first internet cafe opened on the street. 6 yuan an hour. Young people went in and did not come out, playing games, watching films online, chatting on QQ. The regular crowd of 17 and 18-year-olds from my hall disappeared almost overnight to the internet cafes. That was when I finally started to feel genuine alarm. In 2003, the SARS epidemic struck and business collapsed completely. The hall was shut down for 3 months across the country. I sat in the empty room listening to the silent street outside, still owing 2,000 yuan in rent every day. In those 3 months, I lost nearly 10 kilograms. After SARS ended, the customers did not fully return. Occupancy fell from its earlier 70% down to 20 or 30. I started cutting the ticket price from 2 yuan to 1 yuan 50, then to 1 yuan. Each reduction only made the place look more desperate. New customers did not come, and the old regulars drifted away. In 2004, I made a decision I regretted for many years afterward. I converted the video hall into an internet cafe. I spent more than 60,000 yuan on 30 computers and broadband installation, but I did not understand computers. The managers I hired turned over twice in 3 months, and the equipment kept breaking down with constant complaints from customers. The competition in internet cafes was fiercer than I had imagined. 3 other cafes were already on the street, all with newer fit-outs and better equipment. My 30 machines could not run demanding games. Young people considered the specs too low and walked 2 more blocks to the larger cafes instead. I held on for a year and lost close to 40,000 yuan. At the end of 2005, I shut down the internet cafe. The 30 computers were sold off secondhand, each fetching only 100 or 200 yuan. Of the 60+ thousand I had invested, I recovered less than 10,000. It was the biggest loss of my life, and my wife and I had our first serious fight. With no other option, in 2006 I converted the premises back into a video hall. This time it was smaller, occupying only half the original area, 30 seats, catering mainly to middle-aged and elderly customers with old films and opera programs. I could no longer hold on to young people. 2006 was also the peak year for pirated DVD flooding. Street stalls sold discs at 50 cents each, several films per disc. My procurement cost gave me no advantage at all. Even with discounts, it was nearly impossible to compete against 50-cent discs, and every day made it clearer this road led nowhere. In 2007, my wife took our child to Guangdong to stay with her brother, saying it was to find a better school. But I knew the real reason. She could no longer endure the years of losses. Before leaving, she said, "Zhengwo, think about another way forward while you still can. This shop has no tomorrow." After my wife left, I kept the place going alone. On ordinary days, 4 or 5 elderly men and women came to sit and watch opera. Some afternoons, the ticket takings did not cover the electricity bill. I grew used to opening the door alone and closing it alone, and to talking to the old tapes on the shelf. In 2008, I began selling old tapes one by one to the scrap collectors who came round. 10 or 20 cents per cassette. Several hundred tapes brought in less than 30 yuan. That afternoon, I sat beside the empty shelf, lit a cigarette, and cried for the first time. At the end of 2008, the lease expired, and the landlord raised the rent from 2,000 to 3,500 yuan a month. I had no leverage to push back. I surrendered half the floor space, keeping only the remaining half, with one old television, one VCR, and a cabinet full of tapes nobody wanted. In 2009, Youku and Tudo launched, and free online film watching began to spread widely. I barely knew what a smartphone was at that point. Someone on the street told me that in the future people would watch films on their phones. I thought he was joking, smiled, and paid no further attention. After 2010, the visitors kept diminishing. The last few regulars were all around 70 years old. They told me they could not work the remote control at home and preferred to come here and sit with someone around. I understood clearly that they did not come for the films. They came because they did not want to be alone. In 2012, the street underwent urban redevelopment. Surrounding shops closed one by one. Workers began breaking walls and laying foundations. Dust drifted in through the door. I covered the shelves with plastic sheeting. Next door was all noise and rubble, while inside I was still screening an old martial arts film from the 1980s. That year, my son came home to visit. He repaired mobile phones in Guangdong. He looked at my shop and spoke plainly. "Dad, you should have closed this long ago. Every film you can think of is on the phone now." He showed me his screen, full of titles. I stared at it for a long time and said nothing. My son urged me to close. I said, "Wait a little longer. Wait until Chinese New Year. Wait until spring." 2 more years slipped by like that. It was not because I believed things would recover. I could not bring myself to leave. This shop held half my life. Without it, I would be nothing but an old man with no identity and nothing to do. In 2013, my wife came back from Guangdong. Our child had finished school there. She looked at the shop, sighed once, and did not try to convince me again. She just said, "Keep your watch here. I'll handle the household." She went to work at a nearby market stall. It was her earnings that kept us going during those years. In 2015, the VCR broke down completely. I had it repaired once, but the technician said the replacement parts had been out of production for years. I inserted the last tape. The machine jammed halfway through, and it stopped right there. I sat looking at the static on the screen for a long while and never took the machine to be repaired again. After the VCR broke, I stopped screening films. I arranged the remaining few hundred tapes neatly on the shelves, wiped off the dust, went through each one. Some of the cases still bore labels I had stuck on myself years ago in my own handwriting. I simply kept watch over them. Someone came asking if I would sell the old tapes, saying they wanted them for a collection. The price offered was low. I refused without hesitation. Selling them would bring almost nothing in money. Keeping them proved that this place had existed. When I grew old, at least these few hundred tapes would be evidence of what I had done with my life. In 2018, a young person making short videos came to find me, wanting to film an episode about old video halls and interview me. I talked for 2 hours, from the 1994 opening all the way to the present. When I finished, he said, "Uncle, your story is really interesting." I replied, "This is not a story. This is my life." That episode went online, and the view count crossed 1 million. Some people wrote, "This is tears from an era." Some wrote, "I watched it and cried." Others wrote, "Places like this should have closed long ago." My son printed out a screenshot and brought it to show me. I nodded once and said, "None of these people ever sat in my hall." A few young entrepreneurs contacted me, proposing to turn the space into a nostalgic check-in destination where people would pay to take photographs. I thought it over for days and declined. Turning this place into a performance felt wrong to me. I am not an exhibit. I am simply a person who ran a video hall for more than 20 years. In 2020, the rent on that strip of shops rose to 6,000 yuan a month. I could not renew. I finally surrendered the last half room, packed the several hundred tapes into cardboard boxes, moved them home, and stacked them under the bed. 8 boxes in total. That was how it ended. The room I live in now has 8 boxes of VHS tapes under the bed. Not one person wants them. My son tells me to throw them out, says they take up space. I say no, these cannot be thrown away, you do not understand. He has stopped asking. Sometimes, alone, I pull the boxes out, go through them one by one, then push them back under. I often think, if VCD had not spread so quickly, if internet cafes had not appeared on the street at that exact moment, if that epidemic had not happened, would I still be keeping that hall open? But history has no what-ifs. The era moved on. I did not move with it. It is that simple. In 1999, 80,000 yuan bought the busiest video hall on the block. By 2020, 8 boxes of tapes sat unwanted under the bed. 21 years separated those two facts, and so did an entire era. The times never wait for anyone. They simply move forward, whether you can keep up or not. If it were you, the moment you saw the era beginning to change, would you hold your ground or walk away? Tell me in the comments.